Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta proclaims himself to be the strongest warrior in the universe. He shows off Super Saiyan Grade 2 and proceeds to utterly beat down semi-perfect Cell. Cell, in one last act of desperation, pleads to Vegeta, stating that he will give him a battle fight if Vegeta allows him to become perfect. As usual, Vegeta agrees. However, this time around, Trunks is much more prepared, much more spontaneous. Having spent a year in the time chamber with Vegeta, he had already figured out that something like this might happen. Cell by himself would be fine. However, with Vegeta interfering, Trunks couldn't say he had the confidence to take both of them on at the same time. Without hesitation, Trunks kicked Vegeta's backwards as he yells at 16 and 18 to flee. Vegeta, who didn't have his guard up, was momentarily stunned by Trunks' attack. As Trunks now faces off Cell, this is where we'll start the what if off for today. Let's get straight into the video. Cell flies desperately towards Android 18. However, he couldn't get past Trunks. 16 and 18 managed to fly away, their lack of a key signature making it hard to give chase. Meanwhile, Vegeta shakily stands back up, now utterly pissed off at Trunks. As Trunks fends off Cell, Vegeta suddenly butts in, kicking future Trunks' face. He had enough of this nonsense. With Android 18 at God knows where, Cell's usefulness had just dropped to 0. Vegeta didn't need Cell alive any longer. Trunks heaves a sigh of relief as Vegeta prepares the final flash, intending to finish Cell off for good. A look of fear flashes across Cell's face. However, Cell suddenly grins as he adopts a familiar posture. He wasn't gonna die so easily. He was the masterpiece after all. Cell yells "Solar Flare", and Vegeta and Trunks are blinded as they screw their eyes shut. As the blinding light dissipates, Cell is gone. His key signature nowhere to be found. Cell would bide his time slowly. His goal of perfection would be reached. Sometime the next day, Goku and Gohan come out of the time chamber as usual when they hear of the events that had occurred from Trunks. Goku immediately knew what their top priority was: locating Android 18. Cell becoming perfect could be a disaster. Vegeta scoffs at Goku's statement, stating that semi-perfect Cell was weak as hell and they were no trouble taking him on even if he became perfect. However, Goku refused Vegeta. They couldn't take any chances, not when the power jump from imperfect Cell to semi-perfect Cell was so large. Vegeta eventually relents, albeit quite unwillingly. However, Vegeta was secretly intrigued by the form Goku and Gohan took. Had they managed to integrate the regular Super Saiyan into their base forms? Despite no imminent threat of the Cell games, Piccolo still goes into the time chamber, followed by Vegeta and Trunks for the second time. Meanwhile, thanks to Gero's blueprints, Bulma manages to develop a remote to search for the androids. On the day that Gohan studies with Chi-Chi, Goku takes it upon himself to go and find Android 18. However, he suppresses his power all the way, choosing to ride Bulma's car instead, as he and Bulma search West City, which was where the remote displayed the android's location at. Goku didn't want Cell to know their whereabouts. Goku ends up finding Android 16 and 18 taking refuge in the city. They both could pass off as humans, so this was the best place for them to hide. Goku and Bulma approach as they try to be as friendly as possible. 16 and 18 were immediately on guard, and 16 found it especially hard to combat his inner programming, the one that told him to kill Son Goku right here and now. That was his purpose after all. Goku asked Android 18 to come with them. They could offer her protection until they exterminated Cell. However, 18 doesn't trust anything Goku says whatsoever. Bulma snuggly tells them off, stating that she created the emergency stop remote, and she could literally end them right here and then if she wanted to. They were only doing this because it was basic human decency. 18, hearing this, reluctantly agrees to their request. However, 16 refuses, stating that he wasn't under Cell's radar anyways. Instead, he had another request. After taking Android 18 to safety, which was at Capsule Corporation where Vegeta and Trunks were at, Goku and 16 fly to an unoccupied wasteland. 16's programming dictated the elimination of Son Goku, and unfortunately, being an artificial android, 16 couldn't fight off his programming fully. Unfortunately for 16, this is a complete one-sided battle. 16 is on par with Imperfect Cell. However, Goku at this point is far beyond the level of Semi-Perfect Cell. However, as usual, where Goku spares his enemies, Goku decides to spare Android 16 as well. Meanwhile, Cell, who was on the other side of the planet, senses this battle between Android 16 and Goku. Despite Goku not being at full power, Cell could sense the chasm of power between him and Goku. This was the final straw. He couldn't sit around and do nothing any longer. At first, he had no idea how the Saiyans had grown so fast in such a short period of time. However, he did some thinking. Training. That had to be it. Cell decides to leave planet Earth for now. Training on Earth wasn't possible with the Z fighters having the ability to sense his every move. He would train off planet, and once he comes back, he'll wipe off the Z fighters from the face of the Earth and achieve his goal of perfection. With Cell being off planet at all, the next month is a pretty peaceful time of Earth. However, Goku constantly feels uneasy. Cell's long absence felt like something bad was on its way. As usual, Goku decides to go to planet Namek to find Dende in order to reinstate a new Kami on Earth. Dende agrees to become the new god of Earth and recreate Shenron as usual. As usual, this new Shenron allows for up to 3 wishes, and Goku decides to gather the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron, using the first wish to resurrect all that were killed by Cell. This wish takes up 2 wishes because of the magnitude of the wish. However, unlike canon, this doesn't actually revive Android 17, because Android 17 currently is still absorbed inside of Semi-Perfect Cell. Unlike canon, where the wish was made after Semi-Perfect Cell self-destructed and 17 was killed in the explosion. Piccolo, who was on the sidelines, suggests an idea for the last wish to Goku. Why not wish Cell to be brought here? Then they could finally kill him once and for all, instead of just leaving him out there where he could just appear at any time. Goku completely agrees with this notion. It was definitely the best course of action at this point in time. Goku gathers all the Z fighters at Kami's lookout. However, he tells Trunks and the rest of the humans to protect Android 18 at Capsule Corporation. As Goku makes the wish and the Dragon Balls scatter, Cell appears, surprised that he was suddenly brought here. He looks around, seeing Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and Piccolo. 4 of them. Oh well, 1 month of training should be more than enough to handle these losers. Cell powers up to his maximum, completely shocking everyone there. Instantaneously, Goku could tell that he would be outmatched, even at his own full strength. Meanwhile, Vegeta was in disbelief at Cell's sudden increase in power. Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta all lunge forward, meeting Cell punch for punch. Vegeta is instantly pushed onto the back foot, as his power is still significantly lower than Goku and Gohan's. Goku and Gohan put up a great fight, as their time in the hyperbolic time chamber allowed them to enact some good combination attacks. However, Cell still shrugs off every attack pretty effortlessly. At one moment, he decides to shoot a death beam towards Gohan, catching both of them off guard. He intended to end one of them off first, then he could focus on the other one. However, Goku pushes Gohan out of the way at the last second, taking the blow instead. A hole pierces through Goku's chest, as Goku spits out blood and falls to the floor. Gohan looks at Goku on the floor, his entire body shaking in anger. He wasn't ever good enough. He was always just a burden to his father. No matter when, be it fighting against Nappa, on planet Namek against Frieza, and even here, now, his father had to always be the one to save him. Gohan has had enough. Now it will be up to him to save his father. Gohan's determination and anger bubble to the surface. His years of training and intense emotions all culminating into a new realm of power. Gohan taps into Super Saiyan 2 for the first time as he lunges towards Cell. Cell smiles as he meets Gohan halfway, both not giving each other any ground whatsoever. Similar to canon, this intense battle between Gohan and Cell leads to a final beam clash, with Gohan's Kamehameha and Cell's Solar Kamehameha. Semi-perfect Cell here is on the level of Super Perfect Cell or even above that. However, Gohan here still has both his hands, so he's at full power, unlike canon where one of his arms were injured. Similar to how the Z Fighters assisted Gohan originally, they tried to distract Cell using stray ki blasts. However, Cell mostly ignores them. It isn't until Goku suddenly stands back up and joins the fight, forming a true father-son Kamehameha with Gohan, that the tides start to turn against Cell. Krillin had given Goku a senzu bean. Cell starts to struggle as the ki wave begins to become overwhelmed. As Gohan and Goku push forward once more, Cell is enveloped fully by the father-son Kamehameha, killing him once and for all. It was a close call. However, the Z Fighters have triumphed once again. Now, we move on into the 7-year timeskip between the Cell saga and the Majin Buu saga. There are several things I want to address here. The first thing being that Goku's alive, so Gohan doesn't fully slack off on his training, and Vegeta doesn't bear any resentment towards Goku because he gets to spar with Goku pretty frequently. As a whole here, Vegeta and Gohan grow stronger. Though unfortunately, Goku gets the short end of the stick here, because without the unlimited energy as a dead person, Goku doesn't learn to tap into Super Saiyan 3. Secondly, Android 16 stays at Capsule Corporation to help Bulma. Bulma also regularly does maintenance and upgrading works on Android 16, so Android 16's power isn't too shabby either. Lastly, Krillin and Android 18 still get together, and a year after the death of Semi-Perfect Cell, they finally wish back Android 17 using the Dragon Balls. Because unlike canon, Android 17 still had not been revived at this point in time. We'll start covering the Majin Buu saga, and how the presence of Android 16 and an alive Goku will change the upcoming events. Most of the start of the Buu saga proceeds normally, with Gohan's Great Saiyaman activities being discovered by Videl, and then him being blackmailed into teaching her how to fly and signing up for the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai. However, one small difference here is that Goten already knows how to fly, because Goku had taught him during the 7-year timeskip. As usual, the Z Fighters sign up for the World Tournament as well. The junior division ends up being won by Goten this time around, who is actually slightly stronger than Trunks, because unlike Vegeta, Goku actually focuses somewhat on training his family. When the actual tournament starts, nothing changes, up until Gohan unleashes his full power against Kibito. Gohan's power here is far beyond his Cell Saga self, due to him continuing his training due to Goku's presence in the living world. Shin does still manage to keep Gohan in place using his powerful telekinesis. However, this time around, Shin does struggle a lot more. Things continue to align with the main timeline, where the Z Fighters chase down Yamu and Spopovich. And when they make the scene, Dabura decides to make his move, intending to turn Piccolo and Krillin to stone. However, Android 16's programming allows him to predict Dabura's movements, as he blocks Dabura's spit and uses the arm that turned to stone for his rocket punch technique, knocking Dabura back down to the ground and forcing him to retreat back into Babidi's spaceship. Unfortunately, this time around, the Z Fighters don't even have a chance to enter Babidi's spaceship. Babidi releases the energy harvester and realizes that the energy was already enough for Majin Buu's awakening. Babidi cheers as Majin Buu's egg slowly opens, revealing the pink blob of monstrosity. Everyone immediately detects this malicious and powerful key presence. Android 16 also immediately recommends retreating. His power radar, being very accurate, indicated that Majin Buu's power was far above everyone here, except Gohan's. But even then, Gohan himself would not be enough to take Majin Buu down. Goku grits his teeth in frustration. Leaving someone like Majin Buu unchecked could bring disastrous consequences. But they had no choice but to leave and choose to fight another day. This means that the entire Goku vs Majin Vegeta fight, then the Gohan vs Majin Buu fight, is all avoided. This also means that Babidi doesn't really have any personal vendetta against Trunks, Goten and Piccolo like canon, because he has never met them. So the destructions of the cities on Earth proceed in a random order. This allows enough time for Trunks to go and retrieve the Dragon Radar in West City, and thus the first conflict between Goku and Majin Buu is avoided as well. The Z fighters retreat up to Kami's lookout for now, where Shin brings the 3 Saiyans to the land of the Kais for training. While the rest of the Z fighters can only watch on in trepidation as Majin Buu starts his killing spree. While the stuff with Majin Buu still occur like usual, with Majin Buu killing Babidi and then befriending Hercule, the 3 Saiyans start their training on the land of the Kais. Gohan pulls out the Z Sword and trains with the Z Sword first, while Goku and Vegeta spar with each other. Keep in mind here that Goku has no knowledge of the Metamoran fusion dance, so unfortunately there will be no Gotenks fusion here in the Majin Buu saga. Gohan here isn't rusty whatsoever, so he masters the Z Sword in just 3 hours. Goku and Vegeta then take their turns with the Z Sword as well. Though both of them immediately recognize the effectiveness of such training due to just the sheer weight of the Z Sword, they are pretty skeptical about the usage of the Z Sword in actual combat. This is when Goku suggests testing the Z Sword out, and as Vegeta throws a block of Kachin towards Goku, Goku ends up breaking the Z Sword and setting the Okai free. As usual, the Okai performs the power awakening ritual on Gohan. Goku and Vegeta refuse the Okai's request though, not wanting to resort to some sort of ritual to gain more power. Meanwhile, let's go back to Earth for a little bit. Hercule and Buu's pet dog gets shot like cannon, and Buu's anger manifests itself in Evil Buu. As usual, Evil Buu absorbs Fat Buu and Super Buu is born. Super Buu, having the ability to sense ki, immediately flies towards Kami's lookout. This version of Super Buu here has had no confrontation with Goku yet, so he's unaware of any strong fighters present on Earth. Instead, he has decided that he will just eliminate every single person right away, starting with the strongest fighters on Earth, which are currently on Kami's lookout. Super Buu arrives on Kami's lookout as he stalks towards Piccolo, intending to finish all of them off right there and then. Thankfully, the Okai's crystal ball allows for the Kais to inform Goku and Vegeta of the situation on Earth. Goku and Vegeta immediately teleport to Earth using the instant transmission as they appear in front of Super Buu. Meanwhile, Okai continues performing the ritual on Gohan as Gohan sits impatiently, praying that everything would be alright. Looking at this new form of Buu, Goku could tell that Buu's power had risen once again, but they had no choice but to fight it out. Goku and Vegeta power up to Super Saiyan 2. Their base powers here are a great deal higher than they were in the original canon of events. However, Goku doesn't have Super Saiyan 3. Super Buu looks on, a little underwhelmed. He screams out a war cry as he charges at Goku and Vegeta. While Goku and Vegeta do train against each other, they never actually train together, so most of their attacks lack synergy. This problem is exacerbated by Super Buu's unorthodox and peculiar fighting style, where Buu makes use of his elastic body and limbs to confuse Goku and Vegeta. Eventually, both of them could barely even stand, Buu's stamina being something that completely outclassed theirs. Goku and Vegeta power down, and Buu immediately begins charging a mouth beam to finish them off. However, Goku shouts for Majin Buu to wait. If Buu waited, a little while longer, a new strong fighter could come and challenge him. Super Buu is intrigued about the possibility of another stronger fighter and demands they bring him out right here and then. However, Goku tells Super Buu to wait. If not, this fighter wouldn't give him a good fight. Buu agrees. However, Goku knows that Buu has a short fuse, so they would have to improvise. They couldn't just let the old Kai do the ritual on Gohan normally. Goku teleports back to the Supreme Kai world and informs them of the urgent situation. Old Kai informs Goku that the ritual needed another day or so to be complete. There was simply no way Buu would wait for a day. By then, Earth would be doomed. Goku racks his brain. However, a sudden idea crosses him. The Room of Spirit and Time. What had saved them in the Cell Saga would bring them their salvation once again. Goku's instant transmission cannot cross dimensions. However, the Kai's Kai basically had no limitations. With the Kais teleporting Gohan and the old Kai directly into the hyperbolic time chamber, this will allow them to avoid a situation where they arouse Buu's suspicion. Goku teleports back to Vegeta, who was still watching Super Buu warily. Buu's patience was indeed running thin, and about 4 minutes later, he finally loses it as he screams, demanding Goku to bring the fighter here right away. Goku knows they couldn't delay much longer and whispers to Piccolo Gohan's location. He knew about Piccolo's enhanced hearing. Piccolo knows what to do and tells Buu to follow him. Piccolo knows Kami's lookout like the back of his hand. So like cannon, Piccolo leads Buu towards the time chamber, but he purposely takes the long route, extending the time from 4 minutes to 5 minutes, giving Gohan and Okai an extra minute. Buu enters the time chamber along with Piccolo, and then Goku and Vegeta right behind Buu. Immediately upon entering, a huge key presence shocks all of them, including Super Buu. Goku doesn't recognize it at first, the key simply being incredibly oppressive. However, he subsequently recognized it as Gohan's. He couldn't believe it. Gohan's power has surpassed anything beyond his imagination. The 5 minutes outside had given Gohan and the old Kai about 30 hours inside the hyperbolic time chamber, thankfully allowing them to finish the power awakening ritual and even giving Gohan another hour to get acquainted with his new transformation. Now as Gohan stares down Super Buu for once feels an unfamiliar feeling arise. This was fear. Super Buu wasn't happy about this and immediately lunges at Gohan, intending to catch Gohan off guard. However, Gohan dodges his attack with ease. To him, Super Buu's movements were extremely slow. As Gohan dominates the fight with Super Buu, his cocky attitude was starting to surface. His attacks were used to humiliate Super Buu rather than finish him off. Goku yells at Gohan to finish Buu off. However, Gohan tells his father to let him play around with Buu a little longer. And that was when Buu suddenly thinks of a great idea. A way to level the playing field. As Buu suddenly grins deviously, he uses a self-destruction technique. Gohan jumps backwards, evading the powerful blast. However, this was actually just a distraction. Buu knew that there was no way that attack was gonna harm Gohan whatsoever. In the midst of the smoke created, Buu splits himself into two and reappears behind Goku and Vegeta, unbeknownst to them. Buu then expands his body, completely consuming both Goku and Vegeta and absorbing them into his body. Goku and Vegeta were wholly caught off guard and didn't have time to react before they were absorbed into Buu. Gohan looks on in terror as Buu transforms, now donning an all-familiar orange green, Goku's trademark. Buu smiles, telling Gohan that now Gohan will no longer be of any match for him. Gohan grimaces. However, he still remains steadfast, not intending to give up the fight just yet. Buu and Gohan power up to their respective maximums, where Buu suddenly realizes in horror that Gohan was somehow still above him in terms of power. This version of Gohan had continuously trained throughout the 7-year time skip, and the mystic form had brought forth even more of his latent power. Gohan and Buu clash once again, their fight still being pretty even due to Buu's almost limitless stamina and his access to both Goku and Vegeta's techniques. However, for Buu, this was a losing battle, as Gohan was slowly becoming more and more accustomed to his new power. Buu looks around. However, only the Supreme Kais and Piccolo were present, and absorbing them wouldn't be enough to change the tide of this fight. Buu decides to try and absorb Gohan as well. However, Gohan already saw that happen once, and his battle senses were very sharp as he effortlessly dodges Buu's attack. Buu screams in frustration as he winds up for one last attack, a Kamehameha. However, Goku matches his own attack with his own Kamehameha, destroying Buu's Kamehameha and killing Buu as well, literally evaporating him. Unfortunately, this means that Goku and Vegeta were killed in the attack as well, though they could just revive them with the Dragon Balls right after. The Supreme Kais thank the Z Fighters for all their contributions as they teleport away, as we now advance into the 5-year time skip in between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. One more thing to take note is the lack of Fat Buu in this version of events, as he was also killed alongside Super Buu. Unfortunately for Gohan, this is where he starts to slack off, as he moves out of his childhood home to live with Videl and finally achieve his dream to become a scholar. Goku and Vegeta, however, actually start training together, as they are both motivated to catch up to Gohan. Goku eventually does unlock Super Saiyan 3, and Vegeta surprisingly does so as well. Just like that, 5 years go by, and we advance into the Battle of Gods saga. Beerus awakens, and he wants to search for the Super Saiyan God. There is no initial confrontation between Goku and Beerus at King Kai's planet, as Goku was currently training on Earth with Vegeta. Since all the Saiyans were present on Earth, Beerus goes straight to Earth, arriving at Bulma's birthday party. At the first sight of Beerus, Vegeta immediately recognizes him and warns everyone to show the utmost respect, and by no means anger Beerus. With Vegeta's warning, and without Buu to steal Beerus' pudding, Beerus gets to enjoy the food there. The entire time though, Vegeta was constantly on edge, being the only one to know what Beerus can truly do. Eventually, Beerus does state his true purpose here. He was in search of a Super Saiyan God. Obviously, no one there knows what the heck a Super Saiyan God is. So, like canon, Goku suggests summoning Shenron, and using the Dragon Balls, Shenron is summoned, and Shenron imparts the knowledge of the Super Saiyan God ritual to everyone there. Now, on the decision on who to take up the mantle for the Super Saiyan God ritual, Gohan is actually the one to do it here. Despite slacking for the past 5 years while Goku and Vegeta trained hard, Gohan was still slightly above Goku and Vegeta in terms of power. As usual, Videl reveals her baby, and the Saiyan God ritual is performed on Gohan. Gohan feels an insane amount of power bubbling within him, as he now dons red hair. Super Saiyan God Gohan settles on the ground, looking at himself in amazement. Beerus, who was extremely excited, asks Gohan if he's ready. Gohan nods as Beerus lunges in for the first attack, Gohan blocking the blow, catching Beerus off guard as he counterattacks, knocking Beerus back. Beerus catches himself as he smirks. Looks like he would have to take things more seriously. Gohan and Beerus settle into their fighting stances once again as they prepare to duke it out. Gohan and Beerus lunge at each other, both of them trading blows and punches. Beerus has a wild grin on his face, having not exerted himself like this for quite a while. Meanwhile, Gohan tries his best to reciprocate. However, due to a lack of fighting in the last 5 years, his battle senses were dull, and he constantly mistakes Beerus' feints for real attacks. Beerus notices and comments on this. He wasn't fully satisfied with how this fight had turned out. Even though Gohan's power was impressive, that doesn't mean that this power warranted such poor fighting ability. Beerus puts both his hands up, charging up a yellow ball. the Spear of Destruction, as he launches it towards Gohan. Gohan couldn't dodge this attack. This attack was gonna hit Earth if he decided to dodge it. So Gohan decided to meet it head on, charging up a Kamehameha as he launches it, the Kamehameha meeting the Spear of Destruction. Gohan struggles while Beerus simply observes. Gohan shouts as he struggles, pushing his all into the Kamehameha. Eventually, the Kamehameha just manages to disperse the spear as Gohan falls back to Earth, his energy spent. Gohan falls onto the deck of the boat as everyone gathers around him, with expressions of worry evident on their faces. Beerus hovers back down as Whis asks Beerus what his plan was now. Was Beerus gonna destroy Earth? Beerus simply smiles with an expression of satisfaction. That saying, Gohan managed to meet his expectations. Beerus and Whis then leave Earth like usual, while Goku excitedly questions Gohan what Super Saiyan God was like. Gohan tightly shrugs his shoulders. The battle felt like it passed so quickly. He himself couldn't even fully remember the feeling. This didn't dampen Goku's enthusiasm whatsoever though. He now had a new goal to work towards, Super Saiyan God. Hopefully Beerus and Whis would come back soon. He definitely needed their guidance if he was gonna achieve some form of breakthrough. Some time passes on Earth. Like canon, Whis eventually comes back to Earth to enjoy some of the food delicacies there. Unfortunately, as usual, Bulma hides Whis' first few visits from Vegeta. However, Vegeta eventually figures it out. Instead of just Vegeta welcoming him this time around, Goku is there with Vegeta as well. Goku passes some of the lettuce that he just found to Whis, and after Whis takes a bite, he decides to give Goku a pass immediately to Beerus' planet. Vegeta, however, doesn't get such an easy pass. As usual, he completely fails at trying to cook up a meal for Whis, but eventually he offers up the secret of instant noodles and adds to go to Beerus' planet as well. Keep in mind that this means that Goku here starts training at Beerus' planet 6 months earlier than canon. However, this version of Goku hasn't experienced Super Saiyan God yet, so the extra 6 months of training kinda cancels each other out. While Goku and Vegeta start their training off planet, Gohan restarts his training on Earth. After getting absolutely dogged by Beerus, he feels the burden of the responsibility of being Earth's protector. The appearance of a powerful foe that Goku and Vegeta couldn't defeat wasn't just a one-off situation, as shown by Cell, then Super Buu, and now Beerus. In the end, Beerus' appearance on Earth had shown him that he couldn't be complacent, not even in times of peace. Goku and Vegeta couldn't always be relied on, and sometimes it would be up to him to defend Earth. Now we get into another timescape. 12 months later, Frieza is revived with the Earth Dragon Balls, and as usual, he decides to train for 4 months. Frieza then makes his way to Earth, and the Z Fighters then gather together to combat Frieza's army. This is where we will see Gohan's conviction come into play. Due to his training, Gohan in his base form easily takes care of the stronger fighters of Frieza's army like Shisami and even the newly powered up Togoma. Frieza was slightly impressed. Looks like the bread from Namek had finally grown up. Frieza steps up to fight, but soon realizes that his first form wasn't anywhere enough. Gohan easily deflects all his ki blasts and even lands a sucker punch, knocking the air out of Frieza. Frieza stumbles backwards as he immediately releases the shackles on his power, going into his final form. However, even after transforming all the way, the fight between Gohan and Frieza could still barely be called a fight. It was simply just a clown show. Having been shown his weakness in his last fight against Beerus, Gohan had also continuously polished his battle techniques. And in his base, his power also far exceeded anything Final Form Frieza had to offer. Frieza screamed in frustration. He wasn't getting anywhere at this rate. So he decides to flare up his aura, temporarily knocking Gohan back. Frieza has had enough. He powers up into his new golden form, and Gohan cocks his head in surprise. Looks like he will have to get serious. Golden Frieza's power wasn't something that could be taken lightly. Gohan was actually very impressed that Frieza's power had grown so quickly in such a short period of time. However, all this did was reaffirm Gohan's belief that eliminating Frieza right here and now was an urgent task and was more exigent than ever. Gohan powers up into his ultimate form. However, Frieza simply laughs at Gohan, thinking that Gohan didn't even have the ability to turn Super Saiyan. Was that really all he got? His hair literally didn't even change. After all, Gohan's ultimate form basically looked identical to his base form. Gohan, however, doesn't reply to Frieza's taunts, instead choosing to charge forward. In the blink of an eye, Gohan has already embedded a fist into Golden Frieza's gut. Frieza has the air knocked out of him. He couldn't even process Gohan's movements. Gohan here has had the God Ritual done on him, so his ultimate form basically increased its power capacity to cover the power of a Super Saiyan God. And Gohan's base form is already ridiculously strong, considering he continued training after 7-year timescale. So, Golden Frieza here has absolutely no chance whatsoever. However, Gohan doesn't get cocky. Firstly, his childhood trauma from seeing his friend Krillin get killed on Namek and then himself getting pummeled. Secondly, his previous experiences with Super Buu. Because he had gotten cocky, his father and Vegeta were absorbed, and he had to kill them in order to defeat Super Buu. He wasn't about to let Frieza one-up him. Gohan continues pummeling Frieza left and right, not giving Frieza a chance to retaliate. Frieza is panicking inwardly. He was gonna lose to the Saiyan monkey. Sorbet tries to help Frieza by shooting a laser beam at Gohan. However, this laser beam bounces uselessly off Gohan's skin. Piccolo notices as he flies behind Sorbet and kills him. No one else was gonna interfere in this fight. Piccolo hopes that Gohan has it in him to kill Frieza. Gohan punches Frieza upwards into the sky as he prepares a Masenko to finish Frieza off. Frieza charges up a death ball as he launches it downwards. However, Gohan's Masenko easily bypasses the death ball and goes straight through Frieza as well. Gohan puts his all into the blast and Frieza's body is completely obliterated. Gohan heaves a sigh of relief as the rest of the Frieza force retreats from Earth. With this, the Resurrection F saga comes to a close, with Gohan being the one to safeguard Earth. The next arc is the Universe 6 tournament. Champa comes to Beerus' planet and challenges Beerus to a tournament between the two universes. As usual, Universe 7 needs 5 fighters. The first 3 slots are basically already set in stone, with Goku, Vegeta, and Monaka. Goku and Vegeta try to invite Gohan like usual. However, Gohan, even though he has kept up with his training, he still had an important job meeting on that day, so he can't make it. Piccolo is the default 4th fighter though. The main issue was the 5th fighter, because Fat Buu doesn't exist in this universe any longer, having been killed alongside Super Buu. Goku decides to invite Android 18, however the lack of money incentive makes her reject his offer. In the end, Krillin decides to take the offer and steps up, even though he's still kinda lacking confidence in his own fighting abilities. So as usual, Goku and Vegeta take their training into the Hyperbolic Time Chamber for the next 3 years. After that, Whis then transports everyone from Universe 7 to the tournament arena. As usual, the first fight is Goku against Botamo. Goku defeats Botamo with ease, however after that loses to Frost. Now this is where Krillin goes up. Unfortunately, Krillin completely falters here. He was secretly still afraid of Frieza after what Frieza had done back to them on Namek. And Frost, being a Frieza lookalike, doesn't help his odds much whatsoever. Frost's power is also significantly higher than Krillin's, so Krillin is immediately obliterated by Frost. Krillin looks down in shame. After that one-sided fight, he felt kinda down. He couldn't ever pull his own weight, and it was all his own fault. He slacked off on his training, never truly confronted his fears. This loss gave Krillin greater motivation to improve himself. After this tournament, he'll start working on himself and to make sure he never suffers such a humiliating loss again. Next up, now it's Piccolo vs Frost. This fight goes quite a bit differently from canon. With Gohan continuously training on Earth, naturally he has to have a sparring partner, and this sparring partner is none other than Piccolo. Training with Gohan has greatly benefited Piccolo in terms of strength, and he was quite a bit stronger than Frost. Piccolo manages to trap Frost using his stretchy limbs, immobilizing him and throwing him out of the arena, and is declared the victor of that round. However, suddenly Piccolo stops moving and falls headfirst into the floor. Everyone is kinda confused about this development, but thanks to Jago's keen eyesight, he spots Frost's poison needles. Nonetheless, Jago spotting Frost cheating here basically changes nothing, because Frost had already lost to Piccolo. So Piccolo basically just moves on to the next round against Vegeta, while Frost is disqualified. Now, we have Vegeta, the gigantic robot that actually gave Super Saiyan Vegeta a run for his money in the original story. Because of Champa's shenanigans, Piccolo is immediately at a disadvantage against Vegeta. The heat was unbearable, and Vegeta was a tough foe. Piccolo barely manages to come out on top after he learns and exploits Vegeta's weakness to insults. Next up is Piccolo vs Kaba. This fight is pretty much a wash, as Piccolo has superior experience and power in comparison to Kaba. This means Kaba just loses to Piccolo. And without Vegeta teaching Kaba Super Saiyan, this will cause drastic changes to the power of the Universe 6 Saiyans later on. Now, the last fighter of Universe 6, Hit. It's safe to say Piccolo stands absolutely no chance here, as he's knocked out right away without Hit even utilizing the time skip. This means that Vegeta loses to Hit like usual due to not knowing what technique Hit was utilizing. Goku then steps up, and due to him being stronger in this version of events, he actually beats Hit utilizing Blue Kaioken times 10, though it was still a very close match. Goku and Hit shake each other's hands, both acknowledging each other's combat prowess. As usual, after the tournament, Zeno appears, and Goku suggests the idea of a multi-universal tournament sometime in the future. Now, we venture onward into the Goku Black saga. This saga basically remains untouched for the most part, with Zamasu taking Goku's body and then terrorizing Trunks' timeline as Goku Black. Trunks then comes back to the past for help utilizing the time machine. Goku then fights Goku Black like usual before Goku Black is pulled back into the future. However, Goku Black destroys the time machine at the last second. As Bulma repairs the time machine, canon events occur like usual, with Trunks seeking out Gohan, then training with Vegeta. Meanwhile, Goku along with Beerus and Whis visit Zamasu and Gowasu. Goku then afterwards defies Beerus' orders and goes to meet with Zeno, not knowing that this meeting with Zeno would actually bring them their salvation later on. Now, this is where significant changes take place. The first trip back to the future has Gohan in tow as well, along with Goku, Vegeta and Trunks. So, as usual, Vegeta loses to Goku Black after Goku Black reveals his new Super Saiyan Rose transformation. Seeing Goku Black's huge jump in power, Goku is now unsure whether he has the power to best Goku Black. This is where Gohan comes into play. Gohan steps up to fight Goku Black instead of Goku, and unlike canon where Goku struggles against Goku Black, Gohan immediately has a sizable advantage. Goku Black gets his ass handed to him as he's relentlessly pummeled by Gohan. Thankfully for Goku Black, Future Zamasu manages to intervene as he blocks Gohan's Kamehameha, his immortality creating a distraction, giving him enough time to heal Goku Black fully. The fight restarts, this time with Goku Black gaining a lot of power due to a Zenkai boost. Goku Black's power was scarily high, so Goku and Gohan team up while Trunks keeps Zamasu occupied. Goku Black slowly loses more and more ground as Goku and Gohan's teamwork push him back. Zamasu is unable to find an opening to go and assist Goku Black as Trunks successfully blocks all his advances. Zamasu grits his teeth in frustration. This was supposed to be a last resort. However, they no longer had any choice. They had to do this right now. Zamasu shifts his Potara earring he has to his other ear. Goku Black suddenly flies away from Goku as Gohan, as Zamasu does the same, as their bodies clash against each other, forming the powerful force of nature known as fusion Zamasu. Goku, Gohan and Trunks now have to work in tandem to combat this new threat. And actually, all three of them together were doing pretty well, and Fusion Zamasu finds all his attacks successfully repelled. That is until Zamasu decides to take in more power, corrupting himself, such that the battle now shifts in his favor. At this point in time, Gowasu is still not aware of Zamasu's betrayal, so him and Shin do not appear in the future to give the Z Fighters a set of Potara earrings, so Potara fusion isn't a solution here. Trunks awakens Super Saiyan Rage in the middle of the fight, however it still isn't enough. Trunks is almost knocked unconscious by one of Zamasu's thunderous punches. Goku powers up to Kaioken Blue as he and Gohan continue to fight off Fusion Zamasu. However, Kaioken Blue was extremely straining on the body, and Goku eventually runs out of stamina to sustain the transformation. Goku is knocked to the side as well as he collapses to the floor, his eyes almost lifeless. Gohan grits his teeth. Memories of Goku protecting him against Cell flash before his eyes once again. He won't ever let anyone take his father away from him. Gohan yells as a huge silverish aura envelops him all the way up into the sky. Fusion Zamasu flinches back in surprise. What was this? As the aura dissipates, a new version of Gohan stands before Fusion Zamasu. Beast Gohan is born. Gohan doesn't hesitate, before flying forward at extremely high speeds. Fusion Zamasu can't seem to keep track of his movements. Gohan lands a knee right in Fusion Zamasu's gut, the impact from the blow literally creating a massive crater and blowing all the crowds away. Fusion Zamasu falls to the floor, seemingly unconscious, a hole in his chest that he seemingly cannot regenerate. However, suddenly Fusion Zamasu disappears, and the sky immediately turns green, with faces of Zamasu literally spread all across the sky. Gohan looks on in shock, as the faces of Zamasu laugh. Gohan has no idea what to do. This seemed like an impossible situation. No matter what he threw at the sky, be it a Kamehameha or a Masenko, it did absolutely nothing. Goku stands back up shakily, body still severely injured from Fusion Zamasu's blows. He had a plan. Goku takes out the Zeno button. Only the Lord of All could solve this problem. So, like canon, Future Zeno is summoned, and Future Zeno erases Zamasu. And Goku, along with Vegeta, Trunks and Gohan leave the future. Trunks and Mai then depart like usual, and then we move onwards into the Universe Survival Saga. In between the Goku Black Saga and the Universe Survival Saga, nothing much changes, with Goku hiring Hit to kill him, and then Krillin overcoming his fears. This is especially important for Krillin here, especially because his inherent fear of Frieza had caused him to completely lose to Frost in the Universe 6 tournament. Now, the Universe Survival Saga. Without Fat Buu here, the Universe 7 team immediately needs one last member. Though this time around, they do have more than enough time to search for one. Goku suggests Frieza like usual, and even though Vegeta is extremely against this idea, Gohan states that if needed, he'll put him down once again. After all, with his new beast transformation, Frieza's power and his own power were miles apart. Vegeta eventually relents, and after recruiting Frieza, the exact same Universe 7 team to canon makes their way to the world of Void. So, most of the start of the Tournament of Power goes the same, with Universe 9 being eliminated first. The first change comes when Krillin almost gets knocked out by Frost. However, Krillin here doesn't let his guard down, and this time around, he barely manages to stay in the arena. Krillin heaves a sigh of relief. His training had paid off. Next up, Caulifla tries to assault Goku, but without Vegeta teaching Kaba how to turn Super Saiyan in the Universe 6 tournament, Caulifla here also has no idea about the Super Saiyan transformation. Goku simply doesn't see Caulifla and Kale as much of a challenge, and decides to just eliminate them right there and then. As Goku pushes them to the edge, Kale finally snaps and goes berserk. Goku notices the huge increase in power from Kale and immediately goes Super Saiyan Blue as he combats Super Saiyan Kale's attacks. Goku does better than he does in canon because he's slightly stronger, so he doesn't get his ass whooped by Kale. He smartly maneuvers around Kale's clumsy attacks, landing thunderous punches to Kale's weak points, effectively neutralizing her, causing her to de-transform back into her base form. Without Jiren needing to step in to stop Kale's rampage, Kale and Caulifla don't encounter the Pride Troopers early on, but instead resolve themselves to defeat Goku. They each put on a Patara earring as they fuse into Kefla. Now Kefla vs Goku begins. Kefla cracks her knuckles as she flies forward at extreme speeds, surprising both Goku and herself. Goku immediately knows he can't take this fight lightly as he focuses on Kefla. Base Kefla unfortunately can't even handle the likes of Blue Goku, so she's forced to turn Super Saiyan. However, without Caulifla's knowledge of Super Saiyan 2 here, this is Kefla's current ceiling, Super Saiyan. Though it's more than enough to put Blue Goku on the ropes. Goku powers up to Blue Kaioken and completely turns the tide of this battle around, as Kefla suddenly can't deal with Goku's increased speed and strength. As Kefla is about to be knocked out, however, Heat intervenes, saving Kefla in the nick of time. Goku grimaces. Kefla by herself was fine, but with Heat there, it could be an issue. However, a new fighter arrives on the scene to aid Goku. It was Vegeta. Vegeta wants his revenge on Heat, while Goku continues fighting Kefla. Goku's fight against Kefla is pretty one-sided in Goku's favor. However, on the other end, Vegeta's fight against Heat was really even. However, due to Heat's new techniques that he had invented after the Tournament of Power, Vegeta does not know any of them, like the Tides of Time, which confuses Vegeta as Vegeta is unable to land a blow on Heat. Vegeta tries his best, but is unable to get the better of him instead receiving much more damage than he's dishing out. That is until Vegeta pushes himself and ascends to a new realm of power, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. And now, there's a significant power gap between him and Heat. Now, the tides of the battle turn against Heat, as Vegeta fights with renewed motivation and fervor. Heat doesn't want to resort to his trump card so early, but it looks like he would have no choice. Heat slowly charges up his time cage as he binds Vegeta, effectively immobilizing him. Unlike Jiren, Vegeta doesn't have the power to break through Heat's time cage. However, he doesn't need to, as Goku comes to Vegeta's aid after knocking Kefla out of the arena. Goku apologizes to Heat silently in his head. He didn't really want to intervene in a one-on-one fight. However, there was simply too much on the line here. Heat can't defend against Goku while simultaneously utilizing the time cage, so he has to break his hold on Vegeta to combat Goku's attacks. And with Goku and Vegeta teaming up against Heat, Heat unfortunately has no way to change the outcome of this battle, as Universe 6 trump card is also eliminated from the tournament. Jiren takes interest in Universe 7's dynamic duo as he immediately makes his presence known, jumping in front of Goku and Vegeta. Toppo and Dispo join Jiren as well. However, Goku and Vegeta are not alone. Gohan joins in the fray, making this a 3-on-3. Goku really wants to fight Jiren, so Gohan allows him to do so for now, but if Goku needed any help, they would trade dance partners. Gohan takes on Dispo while Vegeta takes on Toppo. For Vegeta and Gohan, they absolutely dominate their respective fights, knocking out both Toppo and Dispo with ease. Toppo's God transformation and Dispo's light speed mode were just futile struggles against these two powerhouses. Unfortunately, for Goku's end, his fight isn't so easy. Despite being stronger than his canon self, it's not remotely enough to bridge the gap between him and Jiren. Goku is about to resort to the Spirit Bomb, however Gohan steps in, stating that he would take care of Jiren. Goku looks Gohan in the eyes, however Gohan remained resolute. He remained steadfast. He was confident. Goku smiles as he jumps back and retreats, while Jiren looks curiously at Gohan. Gohan powers up all the way into his beast transformation, not holding anything back, his power completely shocking everyone there including Jiren. Jiren knows he can't hold anything back as well, as he powers up to his max potential as well. Now, Beast Gohan versus full power Jiren. Unfortunately, there's only one direction this fight can proceed in. For Jiren, Beast Gohan is just too much of a menace. Jiren's attacks barely scratch Gohan, while each blow dealt to Jiren by Gohan significantly damages the former. Gohan wins the fight handily, and with the strongest four out of the way, the rest of the tournament of power is just a wash. Gohan gets the wish, as he wishes the rest of the universes back. One last thing I want to address. Without Frieza putting up much of a performance, Frieza doesn't get his life back from Beerus. Goku is supposed to use the Earth Dragon Balls to revive Frieza, but keep in mind, the Dragon Balls can only be used to revive a dead person once. Obviously, after hearing this, Frieza is indignant, and he demands Goku to find another method right away. Though Goku is pretty tempted to just leave Frieza hanging, he eventually fulfills Frieza's wish using the Namekian Dragon Balls. Dragon Ball Super Broly then happens. However, this doesn't change much at all, except that Beast Gohan here is the one to best Broly instead of Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. With that, we end off this part and this series for now. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.